Hello everyone, welcome to my channel today. I'm Tara with Pieces of Tara Artistry. Thank you for joining me. So what I'm going to be doing today is a textured piece, and I decided to create a bit of a border with this, it's called, I think, sand. It's a paint sample. It's a house paint sample that I had just hanging around. So I decided to paint the background or that border edge this color. Actually did 3 canvases at the same time. So as one was drying, the other one, I was doing the other one. So I did do a couple of coats of this just to make sure I didn't have show through. And this was going to be my background or my border color. So basically I measured off an inch all the way around, and so that my lines would be straight. So I had them marked with just pencil, and now I'm adding the frog tape to that border so that I will have that darker color showing through. One thing that I didn't anticipate is that I would be peeling the paint as I was, or peeling the tape, I'm sorry, as I was working. So I probably shouldn't have wrapped it around the back so tight, but of course, live and learn. So now what I'm using here is the golden molding paste and mixed with a titanium white by Amsterdam. So when you're working with these molding pastes, you really want to stick with a more structured paint. So sticking with like a tube paint, a high viscosity, or a heavy body paint so that you continue to have that structure. Otherwise, what happens is if you use kind of a thinner paint, it will melt your the structure that you're trying to achieve. So go with a more heavy body paint or a high viscosity paint. And that will do you much better than something that's thinner. Another thing is I'm just using a very little. I did just show you how much paint I am putting on just the end of my little palette knife here. So you don't need a lot of paint for this, and you're basically pressing down and pulling back as you're going. So you can see how very little I am grabbing off of my little makeshift palette there, my paper plate. But it's just very little, just grabbing it with the end. And what I do is, you probably saw me, I mix it all together and I spread it out into a thinner layer. So I'm not tempted to grab too much, because I wanted them to be quite uniform in the amount of paint that I was putting on. So I'm gonna speed this up quite a bit. I started off at real time. This is at 6 times the speed, and then I will eventually here speed it up to 16 times, because otherwise you'll be here for the full hour and a half or 2 hours it took me to do this. But it's a very fun, very kind of detailed. So if you're just kind of looking to lose yourself in a technique, this is one that is really a fun one to do. And I'm peeling the tape as I go, because what starts to happen is this molding paste, it starts to dry pretty quickly. And if you wait too long to peel the tape, it will grab it too much and it'll kind of ruin your edges. So you want to peel as you go when you're working with this type of medium, and you're going to do a border or you're using tape for any reason. You want to peel the tape right away. Sometimes people will, even if they're not creating a border, they'll tape off their edges so that they don't have um, the 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 paint or the molding paste kind of go over the edge, and then they peel the tape, but you got to peel the tape right away. Okay, so I am just kind of going along the line, and I'm staggering every other. And you see here now, this is where I start struggling with the tape because I probably shouldn't have wrapped it around, but live and learn, of course. This was my first time doing this type of like border, so with this technique, so it was pretty fun. Now, another thing you want to remember with this technique is you really should have, like, when you're doing a molding paste and you're adding color to it, you want to go with like a 50% paste, 50% paint, because otherwise you will get show through. So there's a couple of different options. You can add the paint directly to the molding paste, or you can just go ahead and use the molding paste and then paint over later. I decided on this one that I would add it directly to the molding paste, and I should have probably added in just a little bit more paint. uh I did in the end get a little bit of show through, and you can kind of see in that top scallop section, you can see the show through a little bit. It's not enough to worry about, and I could go back because it is all one color. I could just go back and paint over it if I wanted to. It didn't bother me enough to do that, but it is something that I could have done. But yeah, you want to keep that in mind when you're adding color to your modeling paste, that you get a good enough amount of pigment in there to completely cover, because these modeling pastes are usually like a semi-opaque, uh, so they're they're not, they kind of, it depends on the ones you get. Like Triart is clear, uh, and it dries matte, so you definitely need to add some paint to that if you want color, like more of a white color or typical color with it. um, Whereas this one is a golden, and it's a semi-opaque, and it's kind of a gray color. So I didn't want it to be gray. I wanted it to be white. So that's why I added paint to it. But you don't always have to. If you definitely are doing like this technique and you are trying to do like an ombre effect with different colors, you will definitely want to add paint directly to your paste, because it's really hard to paint them multicolors after it's already on the canvas. So here I'm just cleaning off a little bit of the molding paste that I got on the edge while I was taking off the tape. And I just wanted to clarify too, when I say molding paste, modeling paste, when I said paint multiple times during this, it was all interchangeable to what modeling paste is. It's all the same. So here is the wet results. I really loved it. I love this combo. This is what it is, dry, and I hope you like it. I will be teaching this at the Fluid Art Experience coming up in Asheville, North Carolina, May 23rd through 25th. Go to www.fluidartexperience.com for tickets and info and all that good stuff. Thank you guys again for being here today, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, y'all.